What's up, clowns? Welcome back to me complaining about something that nobody else cares about. Today, French class. So, where I live, French was a mandatory subject starting in like grade 4. So, I definitely have I have a background in French education. And I had absolutely no choice in it whatsoever. That's a dead body. I do not want to be around that dead body at all. So French for me was fine for like grades 4 to 8. It was mostly like, I guess what you normally consider language learning to be like. Like you go to class, you speak the language, you leave. It's easy marks, you know. Grade 8 was a little different though. My teacher kind of like got us textbooks, and it was focused more on reading and writing instead of speaking, but it was fine. Grade 9, however, that's where everything started going downhill. So my original French teacher, the person who was like assigned to my class, I guess, was actually on maternity leave when the year started. So I didn't actually get to meet them until, I want to say, like April of that year. So it was like a solid 7 or 8 months with a substitute teacher. And like normally that would probably be fine, except this particular sub, like, how do I explain this? Like, this particular sub had a lot of enemies in the class, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of the class didn't like her at all. They didn't pay attention. They didn't do their work. So as a result, that sub kind of yelled at the class a whole lot, and it was not the most fantastic. We did not learn that much that year in French class. So like then when the actual teacher came back from maternity leave, we're sitting here. We've learned like 2 words the entire year, and now we got to cram all the rest of the required material into 2 months. And also the class just doesn't care anymore. And like most of them weren't planning on taking French in high school, so I can kind of see why they didn't care. But I was planning on taking French in high school, so I wasn't quite a big fan of just how far behind it seemed like I was. So I remember there was this one class where I think our teacher kind of just like left the majority of the class to do whatever they wanted, kind of like just study for the whole block. And then there's like 5 of us who were taking French the next year, who like she took us aside and taught us the past tense, because we were apparently supposed to cover that. Ooh, I should not be standing here. Yeah. Because we were apparently supposed to cover that tense in class, and we didn't. So that would have been a big yikes in high school. I should also note that like the teacher kind of like gave up trying to get the class to stop horsing around, you know. So for like the last month and a half, like every Friday or whatever, she would just take us to the kitchen, or like the foods classroom, and we'd just make French food. Like she just didn't want to put up with teaching us the French language at all. So I have to say, went into high school with I was just a little behind, but you know what? It's fine. Like I was always like decent at French. I knew what I was doing, so I probably was gonna be okay. Okay, so then grade 10 rolls around, right? And like our French teacher is fine at the start. Like not a bad teacher in any regards. I actually enjoyed having her as a teacher, and like things were going perfectly fine. Like I was doing well. We were learning actual French stuff. Apparently, the past tense, which my grade 9 teacher was so worried we didn't know, wasn't actually like it wasn't that big of a deal because we covered it extensively in this class. And then at like I think it was early January, my teacher left for medical reasons. I don't actually know what those were. It was just like I'm not gonna ask. That's a personal question, and I did not have that kind of like, oh, that's a bow. Ow. I did not have that kind of like student teacher relationship with my French teacher. No, you've taken the bow. Okay. I'll just keep getting gold. It's fine. Ow, I did not see that knife. Okay. Why is there Christmas music? Christmas is over. Move on. Listen to a different genre. So yeah, my teacher left halfway through the year, and then we got another substitute. Now this substitute was much like the sub I had in grade 9 in the sense that she spent just so much of the class, so much of our time yelling at the class. So like again, we weren't like learning anything. It was just like teacher v students every time we walked in. And like I wasn't part of that though. I have to say I was the quiet one who did the work. I just wanted to get a good grade. I wanted to pass the class, get the second language credit, you know. And like I didn't even have any friends in the class because all of my friends were taking Spanish. So it was just a suboptimal experience all around. But then our sub left in March, and we got our original teacher back for like a week, which was strange. And then we got a brand new sub. And this substitute was really nice, but at this point, it was the same as grade 9. The class just generally didn't care anymore. So we didn't really get through much stuff for the rest of the year. That brings us to grade 11. Ow. And also apparently directly in front of the murderer, but we can just ignore that. Now, grade 11 French was fine. Like I actually really liked my teacher. Probably one of the best French teachers I've ever had. And we learned a lot, so it was kind of like what you would expect from a French class, I guess. For like most of the year, and then quarantine happened. What the heck? Why am I've discovered teleportation abilities, apparently. So anyways, quarantine happened, right? And then we all went online, and at that point, we kind of just like stopped with the speaking aspect of French, which is pretty important to getting like decent grades, you know? So I'd also like to point out that my French teacher is the only class I had that like every single time we had a class, I had like a Google Meet, and also that it was the only one at 8:30 in the morning. So was kind of yikes. There's a stunt going on, actually. I'm gonna leave the street. Nice. So yeah, we kind of, like, again, we kind of just stopped with a couple months left in the year, and then I'm pretty sure finals were canceled too. This is a secret passage, right? So, like, I think I was definitely farther along. Oh, that's kind of rude. Farther along than I was at the end of grade 10, but still behind. So, oh boy, gotta kill people now. That's always fun. Best part of the game. Am I right? So then grade 12, my last year of French. So at this point, like, I was really behind in my education. And where was I going with that? You definitely saw me. You need to be eliminated, I think. Okay, so you're not getting away from me. Unless you are. Just gonna do that. Oh, hello. Are you trying to shoot me? That's kind of rude. I've just completely forgotten where I was going with that commentary. Grade 12, yes. So in grade 12, French was 10 weeks, which I have to say is not the optimal way to do a language course. It was also online, so yeah. Like, the teacher was fine, I guess. Weirdly enough, ow. Like, they were really pushy on, like, getting assignments in. So, like, they'd ask us if we'd finished our assignments the day after they were assigned, and, like, they weren't even due for like another 2 weeks. But yeah, suboptimal experience, I have to say. It is 100% why I decided to not take French in university, because, like, you're looking at the sign-in, right? And it's like, okay, I have maybe a grade 9 like level of understanding of French at this point, and I would need a university, like an entry university level understanding, and I just don't have it. So Latin it is. And thanks for watching. That was French. I know nobody cares, but I care, and that's all that matters right here. So yeah, you should definitely click that subscribe button. Even if you have already, you should do it, and then do it again, because then it, trust me, it lights up, and then you gotta take the lights away, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, bye.